1 year ago, I started my motorsport journey. There have been ups and downs, but most of all, it has been incredible. This first year has taught me a lot about racing and has shown me what is to come in my journey to professional motorsports. This video is dedicated to this first year of my racing journey. I appreciate all of my followers and supporters of this journey and hope the best for you guys. Let's get started. June 2025. I first made my decision to pursue racing in June of last year. I had barely any core racing knowledge and had only watched F1 for a few months. But I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I started my journey towards what I loved. I knew the fundamentals of racing would require a kart and a proper sim, which I do end up getting later on down the line. I started by going to a karting track called T4 Kartplex, where I could get actual good kart racing in. I sucked. It took a few laps to get acclimated, but I kept pushing no matter what. June 2025. I came to T4 a few more times and got a lot better very fast. I was a very quick learner and started getting first place in a lot of sessions. But I knew I was mainly going against a lot of inexperienced drivers, so I decided to enter my first league race. August 2025. League race came along. One of my closest friends was in town at this time and came along with me. This was both of our first competitive races. It was tense. Long story short, I absolutely sucked compared to other drivers on the track. They were a lot more experienced. I qualified in the back of the field, 8th place. On the first race out of 2, I got up to only P6 due to a few drivers spinning out. Still very behind compared to the top competitors. On the finals race, I ended with a P6 yet again. After the race, I reviewed where I went wrong and decided I wasn't done chasing this dream. September 2025. T4 was out of my budget for a while. Karting is not a cheap venture and I had to improvise. I went to a smaller outdoor kartplex in St. Petersburg, Florida with slightly slower karts. While I was here, it still gave me decent practice and I got pointed out for being a faster driver by some of the employees, only slightly below the required time to be in a more professional rental class. Late September, I ended up back at T4. I got a few more sessions in the rentals, and I went up against a few common T4 racers, such as Brian Erb. Shout out to him, he's like always there. He was a good competition in my sessions and gave me some challenge. October 2025. There was no karting this month, unfortunately. I spent this month mostly stacking money to be able to kart and get to the kartplex since I was an hour drive away from there. November 2025. I was finally able to enter another league race. This was my time to prove that I gained exceptional pace and racecraft. I came up against a notable local driver from Orlando Kart Center, Brody Robbins. Surprisingly, while I was obviously not the fast top split, I was battling Brody a lot during this race. It was a great battle. I even got to see Cameron Das in person that night. Unfortunately, after a whole race of battling and being in the middle of the field, after being overtook by Brody, I see the white flag. On a desperate attempt to get past him before the finish, I take a risk and brake late on turn 1. It did not end well. I came off track and into the dirt. It did not feel good, I will tell you that, and I lost 2 positions from it. December 2025. This month, I finally got a racing simulator, the Moza R5. Love it to this day. I also ended up getting a full set of racing gear and $100 in T4 credits. I decided to go and spend it. While I was there, I yet again came across Brian Erb. He gave me competition yet again. Out of the 2 races I went against him, I won the first one and he won the second. I was making beautiful progress still. My pace was getting a lot better and you could tell. January 2026. Finally, after getting the simulator, I made the move and got iRacing. Getting through rookie lobbies and learning how to race a race car was a completely different ballgame. I spun out a lot. I genuinely sucked, but I kept pushing. And this month, I also decided, since sim racing was a lot cheaper than karting for me, I decided to push more of my practice towards the sim rather than karting. I mainly did a lot of F1600 racing on iRacing. The rookie lobbies were atrocious. This same month, my Instagram had its first viral video, reaching 1 million views. Now it's at around 4 million views. I also put out a video saying every new follower and 10 likes on the reel, or a lap around the Nürburgring in the car that the top comment chooses. You could guess how that went. I ended up suffering for a day straight on livestream in the Cadillac V Series for 82 laps. A whole day. 2 days, actually. It sucked. It was all on livestream. I also questioned the IQ of people on track with me.
Sometimes I question the IQ of the people on track with me. Fuck. Oh. Oh. That is beyond the worst crash I've ever had in iRacing.
Anyways, after that chaotic month, I went back to the Formula Car grind. Finally got promoted to D-license in Formula Cars. But then I finally discovered the special iRacing events. In particular, the Bathurst 12 Hours. Never ended up racing any of the big racing events that iRacing held because my sim racing team just didn't get any drivers and I wasn't C licensed for the Bathurst. I still made the attempt to get the C license by Bathurst. I did not end up getting C license by Bathurst, but after a few weeks of trying, I did get the C license and auto promoted the next month to B license. At the end of February, I went to Bushnell Motorsports Park. I still prefer T4 over it, but it was pretty great to get back in a car. March 2026. Shortly after getting C license, like I said earlier, I got into B license at the end of Season 1. I started to get back into Formula Sim racing and started finding recognition online. Unfortunately, I did not get into a kart this month at all. April 2026. April was a pretty quiet month. I kept finding traction on Instagram and got significant upgrades to the sim setup. But unfortunately, no karting. It was pretty bland. May 2026. Big things happened this month, which made racing a lot easier to achieve now. I finally got a car, so relying on my parents to get me to T4 was no longer a struggle. I also got a job, making my funding for racing a lot larger now. However, not much sim racing was done this month as it was final season. Until, at the end of the month, I got back to T4. I ended up racing a T4 employee most of the time, who had much greater pace than me. I need to find out what he did. Now that leads us to June 2026, the year mark for my racing journey. There is much more to come, including sim upgrades happening soon, and a lot more league races and racing preparation. This is where I step up my game and chase what I've been wanting for a year now. I want to thank all the people who have been supporting my journey so far, and I am incredibly grateful for all of the opportunities that have already reached me so far. There is so much more to come. Stay tuned. See you in the next video.